Meh. So what are we doing here?
What are we doing? You need these?
No, not
You took your quiver off. I was supposed to take mine off, but I didn't.
That's supposed to be cool, but.
All right, guys. Welcome back. Jesse and Ham. Jesse and Ham here. All right, what's going on, everybody? Jesse and Sam here with GM Bow Hunting. And season's right around the corner, so we're going to take some time and we're going to show you our shot placement on whitetails. Going to do like quarter to broadside, quarter away. Just kind of talk you guys through it and show you how we do it.
We're telling you what we think is best and where we are personally aiming this year. And yeah, we'll see how it goes.
Yes, sir.
All right, so the first shot, it's gonna be straight up broadside, 20 yards. Obviously, it can fluctuate a little bit when it comes to whether you're in a tree stand, your height. Some people hunt up 25 yards or 25 feet up in the air. Some people are lower to the ground 10 feet, or you can be hunting out of a blind. So obviously it fluctuates when it comes to that. But your average shot, this is what, hopefully if I hit where I want to hit, where we would be aiming at. Not bad.
All right, let's take a look.
All right, so ideally, we're gonna be like perfectionists here. I would wanna be about a ½ inch, about, what would that be? 4 o'clock. And the reasoning behind this would be, most of the time, whitetails, they're one of the most finicky deer in the world. They're gonna duck majority of the time. So if I'm down here, either way, say the deer doesn't move at all, you're still taking out the heart of it. Say it ducks 6 inches, you're still in the top of the lungs. Majority of the time your deer are gonna duck. My buck last year, he was at 32 yards and he ducked and twisted. He was level with me, even below me because I was in the stand, and he ducked and twisted and my arrow looked like it hit him, like I shot him uphill. So that's just my 2 cents on where I would aim. Perfectly broadside, double lung, heart, that main artery that runs through right here to the heart. That's where you're getting all your blood trail and everything like that too.
All right, so I'm with Sam here. I like that shot placement too, myself. Like he said, you don't want to go too high just in case the deer ducks. They're never going to drop. Or wait, they're never going to jump. So you want to play it safe. You don't want to go too high and you don't want to go too low just in case they don't move. And another thing would be too, is a lot of times, like even myself, you think a deer's like perfectly broadside. And when you end up getting up to your deer, there's always some sort of angle, whether it's slightly quarter to or away. So it's always safe to err in this area right here. You don't want to go too far up the leg, just in case it's more quartering, you know, more quartering away, or vice versa, too far back. That way you got the best chance of getting, you know, all the vitals. All right, I'm gonna do the quartering 2 shot. Not bad.
Obviously a pretty severe quarter too.
Pretty severe quarter.
Bug went up.
It's cooked. All right, guys, so I did the quartering 2 shot. I'm a fan of a quartering 2 shot. I definitely wouldn't shy away from them. I've taken a couple quartering 2. I took one last year and it ended up working really well. Hold on a second, bro. That's so funny. Oh, shit.
He's currently pooping in a field.
Dude's pooping right behind the video.
You feel better?
Ah. All right, guys, so I personally don't shy away from quartering 2 or frontal shots. They're actually extremely lethal, and I think that, especially when you're hunting whitetails in the rut, you know, you set all year for your 1 shot opportunity, and if it's presented in a quartering 2 fashion, sometimes you just got to make it happen. Now, on this one right here, it may be a touch low, but on any sort of quartering shot, I always try to imagine where the heart and lungs are sitting, you know, in relation to like the back leg. So come on in. This is what my angle, my shot angle pretty much looked like. I would say that's definitely front lung, maybe catching the back lung. You don't want to get too carried away with frontal shots, especially farther yardages, because your margin of error is smaller. But I think that when the time is right, sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
So obviously the shot, like you said, I think it's just a touch low, especially depending on if you're in a tree stand or not. But I agree that you should not shy away. This is one of those moments where you need to trust your practice all year long. You need to trust your equipment, and you need to trust what you're using, because if you're using the right broadhead, right setup, right weight, everything, you're gonna be able to get enough penetration to make it through this scapula, bone, rotator cuff, whatever you want to call it. You're gonna get through that with your setup. Obviously, you need to know your capabilities. If you're someone who's shooting 40 pounds with a 27-inch draw, you don't take that shot. But if you're someone shooting a 29, 30-inch draw, 70, 75 pounds like Jesse is, that's definitely somewhere you would not shy away from, especially if you're using a fixed blade, single bevel, anything like that. Right. So,
and too, depending on the angle, some of this stuff like through here on a more severe quartering two, or even like a frontal, you know, you're missing this right here, and all that is right there is pretty much just rib cage. And if you've ever quartered out a deer before, you know that there's not much really holding this front shoulder on right here on the insides. So that's another thing to think about too.
Especially if you know the anatomy of a deer, the vital V, all that is bone right here. There's nothing even right here. So if it's a less severe quarter two, this whole area is clear to be able to shoot that deer right in the arteries, heart, lungs, all the vitals. So, all right, now we're gonna do the quartering away. Not bad.
Very nice.
So one thing that I've been taught by my dad, and that I'm a firm believer in, is when you have those quartering away shots, you want to aim opposite shoulder. Because no matter if you have an angle of an arrow going through like this, and you aim opposite shoulder, you have an arrow just a slight quarter two and you go opposite shoulder, you're going to be taking out a double lung. And a double lung is going to be one of your most effective kill shots. Obviously, if you punch a hole right through the heart, it's going to be an effective kill shot, but double lung, if they can't breathe, they can't run. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. There's not really much to a quartered away. Jesse said earlier, I'm going to steal it from him before he says it. It's one of your most forgiving shots, because all there is right here is ribs to a certain point, and after that, it's just skin. So there is going to be no extreme thicker bones. And if you're going to take a shot that you feel is riskier, I would lean on the side of quartering away harder than quartering two, depending on your setup, like we said before.
And pretty much all I got for this, like he said, is quartering away is like your most forgiving shot angle you can have. Ideally, that's honestly what you would like, because the deer's going away from you. Most of the time their head's going to be away from you, so they're not going to see you draw. And I shot a doe last year, slightly quartering away. I thought it was more broadside. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, they're always a little bit, you know, different than what you thought they were. So I actually hugged a little bit closer to the shoulder. It wasn't as severe, but I think I put it in like right around here somewhere, and I still managed to clip the lung, at least one lung, and I got some of that good, you know, arteries and main veins up to the head. So she went probably about 120 yards. And the other thing is too, like the farther you are away, like personally, I think the the hardest range to shoot a deer. I know a lot of people say like 35 or 40, but honestly, I think like 30 to 45 is probably the hardest range to shoot a deer, because not only can they hear the bow or the arrow, but they also have enough time to react to. Like 20 and under, unless they're really twitched up, more than likely they don't have enough time to get out of the way. If you're hunting over a feeder or they're already on alert, it's not ideal. And if their head's down too. I forgot to say that. You know, you don't ever really want to shoot a deer with their head down, because they're kind of in a starting position to duck and get out of there. So,
like if you think about a sprinter on a track, their head down when they're starting to take off, and then they rise up as they go. It's the same thing with the deer. Is when their head's down, it's an easier position for them to just drop their legs and duck and run and take off. So
I think too, whitetails, they're tough animals, but they're not, I think we overcomplicate them sometimes, or even, I don't know, a lot of times people don't take shots because they're being too picky, or maybe they're not taking the right shots even at that. But I think that, you know, even on steeper angles and stuff like that, if you know where to aim, I don't see any problem with taking some more, you know, I don't know, extreme shots, I guess. I don't know if I want to say extreme shots.
Yeah.
But
at the same time, you need to do with the biggest decision. I know it's a hard decision to make when you're in the moment and your heart's beating really fast, but you need to go with what you're comfortable with and what you think is going to be the most ethical shot for that deer. If you don't feel comfortable with that shot, there's no way you should try to push a shot into a situation. Just like Jesse, he had his target buck for the past 4 years, 3 or 4 years on him at 15 yards, and he takes off and trots off to what, 40, 45?
Yeah.
50, and he could have pushed a shot through there and just flung an arrow at him, but he made the right ethical decision to respect the deer and the things that we're chasing. So he did the right thing, and that's our biggest thing is do not push a shot that you're not comfortable with, because more than likely it's not going to turn out good.
Right, yeah, I agree, because I was on that deer. I'd been, like he said, I couldn't tell you how many times I've seen him. I've been drawn back on him 4 times, and I didn't ever get a shot opportunities for him. Like that last scenario he was talking about, he was at 48 yards, and I dialed down to 50, and I was at full draw on him, and he was just kind of slow walking, and he was alert because he spooked out. So, you know, I just wasn't 100% sure, and sometimes the best thing you can do is just go with your gut.
Yep.
And, you know,
at the end of the day, you need to have respect for these animals, because they are tough animals, like we said before, but
they're also, I mean, they're living things, you know.
Yeah.
You don't just want to take unresponsible shots just because you can, you know, flinging arrows if you're not comfortable. And I know some people will debate on like shot distances and not shooting certain distances, but I mean, if you're more than capable, some people are better shots at 60 yards than others are at 20, you know. So it's not a blanketed overall thing, you know. It's individual, and like you said, you just got to do what you're capable of, and stick to it. So,
but that's all we got for you guys, and let us know if you like this video. Let us know what you want to see. Season's right around the corner, so let us know what you want to see before season.
Yes, sir. All right.
Until next time.
Catch you on the next one.